Welcome back to the deep dive. We take your source material, dig into it, and pull out those key insights, those moments that really make you go, aha.
Exactly, finding the gold.
And today, we are jumping back into a real classic, excerpts from the Perils of Linghu Chong, a chapter in The Smiling Proud Wanderer.
A cornerstone of wuxia literature.
Right. And our mission really is to get under the skin of Linghu Chong's, let's say, unconventional heroism. He weaves this amazing web of deception, of strategy.
And things just unfold in ways you absolutely don't expect. In the martial world, the Jianghu, it's unpredictable.
Yeah, you've given us some fantastic scenes here, really chaotic, clever encounters. So let's unpack what really stands out.
Well, it's such a great example of how, in this world, it's not always about who's the strongest fighter, right? It's often about quick thinking, playing the long game psychologically.
And Linghu Chong is a master at that.
Oh, absolutely. A grandmaster of that subtle art.
Yeah. Okay, so let's dive into that first big challenge. Saving Yilin, the innocent nun. She's in serious danger from Tian Boguan, the villain.
A really dire situation. Tian Boguang is notorious, and Linghu Chong is badly hurt.
Seriously wounded. He knows he can't win a straight fight. So, faced with these, impossible odds, what's his first move? Because it's really something.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? He doesn't even try to fight on Tian Boguang's terms. He just sidesteps it completely.
Changes the game.
Totally. He shifts the battlefield from, like, swords and fists to, well, to psychology. He gets that principle, asymmetric warfare. When you're outgunned physically...
You find another angle.
Exactly. You shift to where your opponent might be weak. And here, it's superstition. He turns this physical danger into a mind game.
And he does it with this absolutely outrageous nuns are bad luck idea. He just invents this 3 venoms of the world. And puts nuns at number 1, ahead of arsenic, ahead of snakes. He claims just hearing Yilin's voice got him stabbed 3 times by Tian Bogong himself.
It's pure theater. Calculated absurdity. And it works. It immediately throws Tian Bogong off balance.
Yeah, it shifts the whole dynamic.
Right. Because this first trick, it's not about fighting skill. It's pure psychological warfare. He's trying to make Yilin seem like this bad omen, basically.
Hoping Tian Bogong will just cut his losses and leave her.
Kinda, yeah. Discredit her in his eyes. Make her seem like more trouble than she's worth.
But, okay, the bad luck thing doesn't quite seal the deal. Tian Bogong is still there, so Linghu Chong needs another plan.
He doubles down. More psychology, but this time aimed right at Tian Bogong's ego.
Which leads to the sitting down fight challenge. This is just brilliant. He claims Tian Bogong is the best at standing up fighting, sure. But Linghu Chong, he's second best in the world at fighting while sitting down.
And this is where the genius really kicks in. It's pure ego manipulation. Remember, Tian Bogong had just shown off his sitting down skills against Priest Tianson.
Right, he made a point of staying seated.
Exactly. So Linghu Chong plays on that pride. He knows Tian Bogong will think, this guy, sitting down, I just proved I'm the master of this. It baits the trap.
Makes him walk right into it because he thinks he's too good not to.
Precisely. Pride makes you blind.
And to sell this ridiculous claim, he invents the toilet sword art. He describes learning it by, swatting flies while on the toilet.
Saying it was very smelly but ferocious.
It's so ludicrous. But somehow it almost makes Tian Bogong think, maybe this guy is some kind of weird hidden master.
It taps into that wuxia trope, right? That true mastery can come from the strangest, most undignified places.
Okay, then the bet itself. The stakes get higher. Whoever stands up first loses. Simple enough.
But the penalties.
Oh, the penalties are completely absurd. First, the loser has to be super respectful to Yilin. Bows say, little sister, apprentice Tian Bogong asks after your health. Which is already kind of humiliating for Tian Bogong.
Definitely a loss of face.
Now,
but then it escalates.
Massively. Loser have to join the Hangshan Sword School.
A school primarily known for its nuns.
And become Yilin's apprentice.
The humiliation factor just keeps rising.
Yeah.
But then comes the kicker.
The absolute stunner. The loser must swing his knife and make himself a eunuch.
Yeah. And we need to remember the context here. In ancient China, eunuchs were castrated, often to serve in the imperial palace.
To prevent any affairs with the emperor's wives and concubines.
Exactly. So this wasn't just a symbolic threat. It was a very real, very severe, and frankly, terrifying consequence in that historical setting. It adds this extreme pressure to the bet.
It's wild, the sheer audacity to even suggest it. And poor Yilin, she's so innocent.
She completely misses the gravity of it.
Right. She's just thinking, oh, emperors have eunuchs, it's a job. Like, totally oblivious.
Which is almost funny, but also highlights her sheltered upbringing. And Linghu Chong kind of uses that innocence, too, later on.
Okay, so the trap is set. The bet is made. But then Linghu Chong reveals, sort of, the why behind his confidence. He lays out this fabricated ranking.
The ranking.
Fighting standing up, I rank 89. But fighting while sitting down, I rank number 2. Claims Dongfang Invincible is number 1. Even ranks Tian Boguang himself at 14 for standing up.
And the source material is really clear here. This is pure invention. None of it is real. He claims it came from the 5 Mountain Sword School's alliance heads, but nope, made up.
So what was the real plan behind insisting on sitting down and telling Yilin to leave, saying, the quicker the better? With a bald-headed little nun in front of me, I will have already lost.
That was the masterstroke. It was all a distraction. The whole sitting down rule, the elaborate bet, the fake ranking, it was designed to keep Tian Boguang pinned to that chair, immobilized by the rules he'd agreed to.
While Yilin escapes.
Exactly. Give her time to get away safely while Tian Boguang is stuck. It's brilliant.
But the cost, the sacrifice involved is immense. He takes wound after wound.
Multiple cuts, yeah. The text mentions at least 13 wounds eventually, mostly to his shoulder and left arm. He's in agony, bleeding badly.
But he keeps up the act, keeps taunting Tian Boguang, trying to get him to stand up.
He's literally putting his body, his life on the line for this strategy to maintain the illusion.
And the win, how he actually wins the bet, is the final piece of genius.
Right. He collapses, intentionally. Looks like he's lost. But crucially,
his rear end was still touching the chair.
Exactly. He technically hasn't stood up, but Tian Boguang, in his moment of supposed triumph, jumps up.
Meaning he broke the rule. He stood up first, so he lost the bet.
It's the ultimate clever, self-sacrificial victory. Just astounding manipulation of the rules.
And you even see the reaction from others, like Yu Kanghai, the King Chang master. He's disgusted, calls Linghu Chong a rascal playing unscrupulous tricks.
Disgruntled.
But then Dingy, Yilin's master, she fiercely defends him. She gets it. She says a true man fights with his brain, not his muscles.
She recognizes the real heroism there. It wasn't about winning a fight. It was about saving someone through intelligence and sacrifice, even if it looked unconventional.
It really does redefine what heroism means in this world. It's not just about being the best fighter.
Not at all. It's about strategy, sacrifice, outsmarting your opponent, protecting the innocent, whatever it takes.
So Linghu Chong pulls off this incredible feat. But, as always, in the Jianghu, solving one problem often creates another.
The ripples keep spreading.
Yeah. His victory leads directly into the next conflict. He's won, technically, but he's still sitting there bleeding everywhere, severely wounded.
Extremely vulnerable.
And that's when Luo Renji from the King Sheng Sword School shows up. He sees Linghu Chong, sees Yilin nearby.
And immediately jumps to conclusions. Assumes the worst.
Thinks something improper is going on, which just shows you the mindset of some of these so-called righteous schools.
Exactly. Narrow-minded, arrogant. Luo Renji sees what fits his prejudice, and that sets up the next tragedy.
And Linghu Chong, even half dead, he just can't resist poking the bear, can he?
He has to get the last word, even verbally.
He insults Luo Renji, brings up this ridiculous move name, Bum Bum Back, Keys Landing in Sand, claiming it's King Cheng's best technique.
Which naturally infuriates Luo Renji. He attacks.
But Linghu Chong, weak as he is, somehow manages to trip him. Kicks him right on the backside.
Reinforcing the insult.
Doubling down on the Bum Bum Back name. It's defiant, even then.
It's that last spark of psychological warfare. Even though it costs him, he makes sure his enemy suffers some public humiliation. It's Linghu Chong to the core.
Because the cost is immense. Luo Renji comes back, furious, with his sword. Linghu Chong is just too weak now.
He's overwhelmed.
Luo Renji demands Linghu Chong call him grandfather of King Cheng 3 times. Total humiliation.
But Linghu Chong has one last trick up his sleeve, even now.
He baits him again, offers a secret, says he knows something about the legendary evil-resisting sword art manuscript from the Fortune Prestige Escort House.
Classic Linghu Chong. Playing on greed, he knows that's Luo Renji's weakness. Even in this moment, it's the perfect bait.
Absolutely. Luo Renji, blinded by the thought of getting this ultimate technique, leans in close to hear the secret.
And that's Linghu Chong's chance.
With his very last bit of strength, he grabs his own sword from the ground and thrusts it right into Luo Renji's stomach, kills him.
Revenge for the attack, the humiliation. A final, brutal act of defiance.
And poor Yilin witnesses all of this. The fight, the killing. She just breaks down. The text says crystal teardrops, and then she just faints from the sheer horror and stress.
It's a devastating scene, the culmination of Linghu Chong's sacrifice, but also a raw display of his spirit, his sense of justice, even as he's seemingly dying.
And the story doesn't stop there. The consequences of Linghu Chong's actions, his cleverness, his death, they keep echoing, especially for the King Cheng school.
Oh yeah, the humiliation tour is just beginning for them.
Yu Kanghai, the King Cheng master, finally arrives, and what does he find? Two more of his disciples, Shen Renjun and Ji Rentong, laid out unconscious.
And the calling card.
Each one has a muddy footprint right on their backside, echoing that bum back, geese landing in sand insult Linghu Chong used.
It's like rubbing salt in the wound. That specific insult becomes this recurring symbol of their public shame. It's almost theatrical, designed to just dismantle their school's reputation piece by piece.
Yu Kanghai must be absolutely furious.
Yeah.
And deeply embarrassed.
You can imagine. His school's being systematically humiliated in public.
Then we get this interesting character, Lin Pingzi. He shows up disguised as a hunchback.
Right. Using plaster, trying to hide who he is. He pretends to be related to Mu Gafeng, the famous hunchback of the north.
But that's not his real story, is it?
Not at all. His motivation is pure revenge. He's the last survivor of the Fortune Prestige escort house.
The same escort house whose manual Luo Renji was greedy for.
Exactly. And it was Yu Kanghai and the King Cheng school who destroyed his family and the escort house. So Lim Pingji is there, in disguise, looking for his chance.
Yu Kanghai completely misreads the situation, doesn't recognize him, just sees someone he thinks is an imposter and wants to punish him.
Setting up another confrontation based on mistaken identity. But what Lin Pingji shows here is strategic pragmatism. He's willing to endure humiliation now for his ultimate goal later.
Which becomes very clear when the real Mu Gafeng shows up.
Yes. This grotesque, genuinely powerful, and quite ugly master arrives, completely changing the dynamic again.
And Mu Gaofeng tests Lin Pingzi. Basically says, you want my protection, kowtow to me, call me grandpa, in front of everyone.
Huge test of pride, especially for someone like Lin Pingzi, who used to be this wealthy young master, a dandy from Fuzhou.
But he does it. He kowtows. He calls Mu Gaofeng grandpa. He swallows his pride.
It's a massive moment for his character. It shows how much he's changed, how focused he is on that long-term revenge. He's willing to sacrifice his dignity now for the chance to avenge his family later. Real transformation.
Okay, and just when you think things can't get any weirder or more humiliating for King Cheng, enter the little girl.
Ah, yes, the little girl. The ultimate agent of chaos and humiliation.
She looks totally innocent, but she is sharp as a tack. And she just lays into Yu Kanghai and his school.
Relentlessly.
Shouting bum back, geese landing in sand.
Yeah.
When more King Cheng disciples are carried in with those muddy footprints, claiming Yu Kanghai broke her arm when he just grabbed it.
Which he did out of pure frustration, making him look even worse.
And then the masterpiece. Sticking a little drawing of a turtle on his back and pointing, calling him Turtle, which is a huge insult.
It's unbelievably bold, and she keeps reciting that multiplication rhyme. 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4.
Implying how many people it takes to carry away all the defeated King Cheng guys. It's brutal.
And Yulin has that flashback later, right? It confirms the girl and this wine-drinking monk were actually watching Linghu Chong's fight earlier.
Suggesting they taught her these insults.
Yeah.
Specifically to target Yu Kanghai.
Exactly. It feels orchestrated. And her questions are so pointed. Was Luo Renji a hero for attacking a wounded man like Linghu Chong? Is scaring a little girl heroic, Master Yu?
Oof. Direct hits. Linking his disciples' actions and his own reaction right back to Linghu Chong's death, making Yu Kanghai look terrible in front of this whole crowd.
She's weaponizing public opinion, public shame. It's incredibly effective.
You could just picture Yu Kanghai standing there steaming. Utterly frustrated, embarrassed beyond belief, he tries to retaliate by throwing a crumpled paper ball at her.
And she just dodges it easily, making him look even more foolish, more impotent. The humiliation is total.
It really is a masterclass in psychological takedown, orchestrated through this little girl.
A different kind of martial art, almost. Using wit and public perception as weapons, a perfect counterpoint to King Cheng's brute force and arrogance.
And amidst all this public drama, Yilin is having her own internal crisis. That flashback confirms the girl and the monk were there.
Connecting the dots, realizing this humiliation is likely linked to Linghu Chong's final moments.
But mostly, it's about her grief and confusion over Linghu Chong after he died, or seemed to die.
She carried his body. The text describes her feeling almost calm and peaceful, even a strange kind of happiness just holding him, which must have been incredibly confusing for her given her vows.
Right, this clash between her religious duty and these very human, very strong feelings she's developing for him. She struggles with what she feels are evil thoughts.
It's a really complex emotional state. Deep grief mixed with this unexpected, perhaps inappropriate attachment.
And then she faints. And when she wakes up, his body is just gone, vanished.
No trace, despite searching everywhere.
She's terrified wild animals might have gotten him. It shows how much she cared, despite the internal conflict. But the mystery remains.
Where did Linghu Chong's body go? It adds this final layer of enigma to his story in this chapter. Did he really die? Was he taken? It leaves you hanging.
Wow, what a ride. Seriously, delving into this part of the story, it just shows a martial world that's so much more than just fighting. Honor is slippery, and sometimes the most unexpected tricks win the day.
Absolutely. Linghu Chong is the embodiment of that. Using wit, using deception, willing to sacrifice himself, not just for the big heroic win, but for these small, crucial victories, protecting Yilin, getting that last measure of justice. It's remarkable.
Yeah, his ability to sacrifice his body, even his reputation, being called a rascal, all for a purpose he believes in.
It's profound.
And then seeing how those actions just ripple outwards. They draw in Lin Kingsley, fueled by this deep need for revenge. They empower this little girl to just completely dismantle a powerful martial arts master with words and pranks.
It really makes you question what heroism even looks like in a world like this, where the lines are so blurry and every single action seems to trigger a whole cascade of unintended consequences.
So thinking about all this, after this deep dive, what does it make you consider about the sheer power of pulling off an unexpected strategy? Or maybe how one act of courage, even if it looks completely unconventional, can set off a chain reaction that reveals, well, both the worst and sometimes the surprising best in everyone around.